Hello everyone and welcome to Flosstube number 15. Welcome, thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to show you all my different cross stitch projects I've been working on. I have two small finishes and then quite a few whips. I think I mentioned in my previous video that I didn't have Wi-Fi yet because I just moved. So thankfully now I have Wi-Fi and it's working great, so it won't take me so long between my updates, but this is about 3 weeks worth of stitching, so it's quite a few whips. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the two small finishes. So my two finishes are actually part of a series. So it's the 12 Days of Christmas by Annie B's Folkart, her Christmas stockings, which are adorable. So I've already finished day 1. And in the past few weeks I finished day 2, and it does have a little bit of beading on there. Let me get a little bit closer. You can see the details. As I've stitched a few of these, I've noticed that the vine here tends to be the same, and then you'll have little vines as well. So you'll see on number 3, which is also a finish, that vine at the top is pretty much the same. I am stitching these on 14 count black Aida using the called for flosses, except for one color. I think it called for, hold on, let me look at my pattern real quick. I'll hold that back up. I think it called for like, yeah, it's 524 and it had like 525 or either 523 or 525. It was one number off from what it called for. I was like, it's close enough, I really don't mind. So that is one slight change, but you probably really can't even tell because it's just a small color change. You can see right here in that little ornament, there's some beads in between each of these little berry clusters. In the middle of those 4 stitches, there's a bead. All the numbers right here have beads there. So the beads kind of vary where they are. And then we have day 4, which is not finished yet. Got all the brown in that little ornament. And then you can see right here, I've started on the bottom vine. This one is going to be a lot of little vines. See, 1, 2, 3, we'll say 4, 5, 6, and then that big one at the top, 7. They're really fun to do. After I kind of got the hang of it, after the first one, I kind of knew what to expect. Like, because they are so small, it's kind of like a little bit of confetti stitching, especially with those vines, but they're so fun and they worked up so quick. This one worked up in literally like 24 hours. Yeah, so quick. So I love these. I can't wait to turn them into stockings. I would love to get about halfway through before the end of the year. So my goal is to get to 6 before 2025. So we'll see if that happens. And then next, everything else is whips. So I'm going to start by showing you my sampler September whips. Let me move my bag of floss for that one. Okay, the first one is Miss Mary Yerger 1859. This is a freebie pattern, and it is from Just Stitching Along. I will put a link to the pattern below in case you want to download that yourself and stitch it. I will say on my sampler September, while I'm putting this paper behind this, here it is so far, I'm using 32 count vintage smoky white and stitching it 2/2 with the called for flosses. I've only used one color so far, so you can see this is about the full size of it. I don't think it's going to go all the way to the end. I think it's going to end like right there. I thought it was going to be tighter than I think it actually is once I've started stitching up. So I've just got that first line of alphabet almost done. I think it goes to Q. I will say with my sampler September starts, I do think I was a little too ambitious. Like if I was to go back and do it again, I think I would have picked 1, maybe 2 projects, but with doing 3 and then also wanting to work on other whips, I feel like I didn't get as much done on these as I wish I had. But I love this one. It's so fun to stitch. It took me like maybe 2 hours to stitch this, like so quick. And it's such a beautiful alphabet. So there's that one. Oh, please ignore my fingernails. I tried to paint them this weekend, and for some reason I have an issue where when I'm painting my nails, like I guess my assumption is I don't let the layers dry long enough in between, because I'm just like, oh, I need to start doing that. I just can't sit still long enough. So anyway, then they don't dry completely, and then they like start smudging and wrinkling, and so then I just scrape them off. So that's what happened with that. Next sampler September start is Grhodes 1890. This is by Crafty MJC. I bought this one on Etsy. And that is what I have. I've started the border. I didn't even close it. This one was a little bit slow going. I'm stitching it on 36 count gunmetal, 1/2 with the called for flosses. I think that's like a crew or 7/12, something like that. It's such a small stitch count, you know, 36 with a dark fabric. You do need pretty good lighting for it. So I worked on this like 3 or 4 days, I want to say, but just because it is a smaller count, and you have to like each, normally when I'm rolling on something, I can just be like da 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 da, but this one I have to like count. Y'all don't need to see me do it. You know what I mean? But I have to count like each one, 2 and 2 and 2 and I feel like I have to count each one just because it's a small count with the dark fabric. So that one's a little bit slower going than I had hoped. I do want to go ahead and finish that border before I put it up for a little bit. All right, last one is the one I've done the most work on. This is 3 Peacocks by Heartstring Samplery, which is also a freebie pattern. I'm stitching this on 32 count vellum 2/2. Yes, 2/2. And I really like it. It's such a pretty little pattern. In each of those, there's going to be a little motif. This one's like halfway done. There's going to be a little motif in them, and then in the very center there's 3 peacocks. Well, you saw the picture because I have it on the screen. Love this fabric. I want to get more of this fabric. I want to get a big piece of that fabric. It's so pretty. Yeah, I love this one. Using the called for flosses. Like I said, another freebie. Really pretty. I like how small it is. I think this would make, I believe in the picture she has like a little wall hanging. I don't think it's like actually hanging up, but I think it's like flat on the table. But I think this would be so cute. And once I get a craft room on a gallery wall, it's like a little tiny wall hanging. So that is my finishing plan. But yeah, I love that one. My plan for these Sampler September projects as well is to pick one, probably the 3 peacocks since this is the closest to being finished. And I don't know, but I love the Miss Mary Yerger too. So I have to decide. But pick one of those to keep out and be like my sampler that I'm working on. And then put the other 2 up. And once the one I'm working on gets finished, then I'll pull another sampler out to be continuously working on. I feel like that's going to be the best move because I did feel a little bit overwhelmed with Sampler September because I was like, I need to work on this one, I need to work on this one. Oh, but I want to work on my other things. So yeah, that is my plan. All right, next, I have my notebook over here. That's why I'm looking down to know what's next, what the names of them are, is Christmas Goodies by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is my second Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery pattern. The first one that I worked on and stitched is a little bit farther down the pile. So this is a new start. I got all my papers here for the pattern. Their patterns, let me just say, are so detailed. Like, look at this. This is just the color key. I can show you this. But look how nice that is. It's so nicely printed. I did do a bit of a color conversion. I'll give you all the details on that once I know I'm keeping all the colors. They like tell you things about them and their patterns. It gives you a stitch guide. I'll just show you real quick. It gives you a black and white copy of the pattern as well as in color. It gives you a guide on different stitches. So like perfect for the absolute beginner. This would be great if you know somebody who's like wanting to start cross stitch. Maybe you have a friend or a family member and you're looking for a Christmas present. One of these small patterns would be amazing, like kitted up, because it really gives you everything you need. And some of them even have like finishing instructions for what's on the front. So anyway, there is my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery rave for you. But here is my project. I'm gonna put it on the back of this. I did do a bit of a color conversion, like I said. So first off, I'm stitching on 32 count Peaceful Purple. And the cover photo had a pink, but I really like this purple. I think it's super pretty. I had this scrap left over from, if you remember, I did Midnights, I believe it's called, from Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. I'm stitching it 2/2, and so far I'm only going to tell you the colors I've changed. I've actually stitched because I might change them, you know, once you stitch it and see the colors together. Sometimes I change them. So that pink was 3805 and I changed it to 3706, so a little bit brighter, hotter pink. Whereas that one is a more deep hot pink. This one's like a more neon. And then I've started that white there. loving that one. Would love to finish that one in October. I have a lot of plans in my head, and the problem with the plans in my head is I don't write them down. I don't remember them after I film this video. So I'm going to do that as I'm editing it. I'm going to go back and write these down. All right, the next one is one you've seen before, the Santa's 12 Days of Christmas. Oh goodness, I finished 5 and 6. I'm working on 7 and 8. 7 is so close to being done. I just have to do some fill-in. I don't believe this started last time I talked to you. So I need to fill in the red on his coat, his little buttons, fill in the red there. This is that green right there. I need to fill all that in. And his boots, that light blue, fill in the swan. I do think I'm going to outline this swan in 3371. This white one right here, because he's kind of hard to see. I don't think I'm going to outline him just because he has the blue around him. But if it looks weird that this one's outlined and this one isn't, then I might. But yeah, there's 7, almost done. It's a little bit more work. And then I recently started 8. Just started 8 like yesterday, I think. So I've started the number 8. I've started that little stool, which I had a little mess up on. The stool is supposed to be 222. But that one I did 1 because I think I just got off. But to me, it kind of looks like the stool's like tilted a little bit. It's like catty corners. I don't mind it. So I need to fill in all his pants because he has quite a bit of back stitching on this one because he's in overalls. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the red as I go on this one. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the red as I go on that one. Yeah, and then this book will be complete and I'll move on to the last book, which I actually have it right here in my project bag. It's still in the plastic, so I'm not going to take it out, but I'll show it to you real quick. You can see what the last 4 look like. I think my favorite is 10 and 12, a tab between 10 and 12. I love them all, but I believe 12 was kind of what sold me on it. I don't know, maybe it was 10. 10 and 12 both were what sold me on it because I remember Tiger Lily like very specifically working on 10, which is who inspired me to do this project. Oh, I didn't even say, I'm stitching those on 18 count rustico. I was using, for the previous ones, I did 18 count DMC natural. That was out of stock. So I had rustico in my stash and I had them up against each other and one was like slightly darker, but I was like, it's really not gonna matter very much. It doesn't bother me. They're very, very similar. So I just went ahead and did that and I'm stitching them 2/2. The red, I changed the bright red to 817, and then the dark red, I changed to 815, which is right there. I feel like you don't use the dark red a lot, so that's that red right there. All right, now let's get into a big project. This is the Deadly Aquarium by Lola Crow Crossstich. All right, I've put in a lot of work on this, but he's not quite done. I'm like so close. I can taste it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm so far away. Here it is. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna let you like look at the whole thing and then I'll fold it and show you the details. But the whole inside of the aquarium is done. I just have to work under it. I stitched this on 36 count Nessie. I use all the Cultural flosses and I'm stitching this 1/2, which to me is beautiful coverage. So let me fold this so I can show you what I've done. First thing I did was add that stingray right there, this little stingray. There is, let me move my needle under. I'm just take it off for a second. Oh, there's a needle on it. Okay. I did this little guy right here. Let's see. Oh, the whole middle. I did all the little fish and jellyfish and all the things in the middle. There you go. All of them. Finally added that little yellow fish. I believe it's angelfish maybe, if I'm remembering correctly. Finally added him. Then of course on this end, our crocodile, the little puffin. Man, he was a labor of love. I was sick at the end of last week, so I really focused on him while I was sick and got him done in like 2 days. There's nothing up there. But yeah, I got him done in like 2 days. I was kind of like, I hate being sick, but also it's really nice to have the stitching time. My husband took my son for a little while. He took him like out to breakfast and I was like, oh, that's so nice. He was like, you just rest and relax. And I was like, yes, I will. And so I watched Emily in Paris and worked on this, and it was the best. It was so nice. And then I've started the Don't Touch tadpole. So you can see I have that little, I believe it's coral down there, but I need to do all of that. That's all I have left. I believe that was like 2 exhibits put together. I think it was like part 1 and part 2. So yeah, I've got 11 out of the 13 exhibits done. And I love it. I can't wait to finish it. I'm enjoying stitching it though. It's not like, oh, I'm dreading it, I'm ready to get it over with. I did take a little bit of a break from it, which you probably noticed in the last video. I didn't show it because I felt like it needed a minute. I needed to breathe from it so I didn't get tired of it, and I wasn't like just stitching it to finish. I want to continue to enjoy it. So if I need a break, then I will take one, but I'm really enjoying that right now. And after I film this video, that's gonna be what I'm working on tonight. Okay, next, oh, all my flosses here. I'm so excited. Okay, sorry, side tangent. Does anybody else get really excited to put flosses up after a project? Like, there's something so satisfying about taking a project and putting it up and then putting your flosses away in your, you know, bobbin box or however you store your flosses. For me, it's a bobbin box. It's so satisfying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much floss. I didn't have it before because I had it, but obviously it was occupied. Another note, I'm going to put a picture here of the frame I'm planning on buying for it. I've measured, it should fit perfectly. A little bit of room on the sides. I don't remember off the top of my head how much. But I'm not letting myself buy it until that's done. So it's kind of a little bit of motivation there. All right, the next one is, I believe it's called a candy a day. I'll put that in the description box below. Every time I do a video, any fabric floss conversions, I'm stitching up 1/2, 2/2, whatever it may be, is always in the drop down. So in case I forgot to mention anything or you didn't catch the name of the pattern, anything like that, it's always in the description below. So this is, I believe, a candy a day. I do have the paper pattern of this as well. And this paper pattern actually had the finishing instructions if you wanted to finish it like the front. So yeah, put that here because I've got that put up because all I have to do is fill in that dark purple. So I went ahead and put that up. All I have to do is fill in the dark purple. This one took me like 3 or 4 days. I loved him. I was really itching for some like Halloween stitching, some cute Halloween stitching. And it's so cute. It says a candy a day keeps the monsters away, which I love. My son loves it. He was like, Mommy, it's a cute monster. I said, he's a candy monster. So yeah, I love him. I love the way the coloring on his little horns are. It almost looks like from far away that's like a variegated floss. I think that's so pretty. I'm stitching this on 14 count light blue Design Works Aida. And I used all the call for flosses on this one. So yeah, love him. And I'm stitching it 2/1, by the way. I think I mentioned that. All right, next is another Halloween project. Let me grab my paper. Actually, let me show you the whole thing. This is the Spooky Collection by the Primitive Hair. And I'm stitching this on 32 count lamb's wool that I coffee tea dyed. So here's, it's kind of rolled up from where I was working on it. Here's the whole project so far. And I'm gonna fold it so you can kind of see what I've been working on. And I'm stitching this 2/2. So I had all that bottom done, but I finished, I believe it was the books and the skulls I finished. And then I did that one and this one, which is Nevermore, which is day 1, and then 2, which is that little pumpkin. And you can see I've started number 3. 3 is a full coverage like jack-o'-lantern face. So I'm on mark to finish my goal of doing another row by the end of October. I definitely think I could do that. I would say depending on how stitch heavy the box is, like the jack-o'-lantern box will take me a little bit longer. Each of these takes me, depending on how much stitching time I have, a day to a half a day of stitching. And when I say day, I mean like maybe an hour during the day and then whatever I work on at night. I will say the one thing about this pattern that's kind of, I've been forgetting to mention this, but I wrote it down, that's kind of slightly bothersome. Let me see if I can show you, cover this up. So you see the call for flosses. So you see the call for flosses, and then you see at the bottom where it has the back stitch it calls for, right? But each of them are just a line, and the pattern is black and white. So when I'm looking at the pattern in the back stitch, it's kind of, there's really no indication of what color I should use. Now, obviously it shows on here that 3 different colors are used for back stitch, you know, in the whole pattern. But I'm looking at these pictures on here, trying to figure out which color back stitch to use. Because there's really no differentiation to me. I mean, I don't know. Do you notice the difference in this one? There's really no differentiation. So like when you're stitching it and you get to back stitch, I kind of go to the front and I study it and I'm like, okay, well, I can kind of tell on this one, oh, this one's really obvious, or I can't tell. So then I kind of hold them up and figure out which one I think would look best, which is slightly bothersome, but I do love this pattern. I think it's really nice. And there's a couple other primitive hair ones that I want to purchase, so it's not going to stop me from purchasing a pattern from primitive hair, but just kind of like something to know if you wanted to stitch that. And then my final whip for the day is Gilmore Girls from Stitch Area. This is an Etsy shop and they don't have it in the shop. You have to message them to get it. If you message them, they'll send you 2 different options, a large one, which is what I'm stitching, and then a small one, which is like a little circle hoop. Let me give you a close up. Oh, I kind of want to work on this one tonight too, but no, I'm going to work on the aquarium. All right, let's see. All right, so since the last time I finished the Vicious Swan, I put in a little bit of work on that. I believe I did Film by Kirk, maybe. Okay, I know I did the gazebo, the Weston's Bakery. I think that's all. Oh, that right there. I was about to say, I remember doing something with a lot of back stitch, but that right there, what does that say? Coffee, please, and a shot of cynicism. So the bottom of this, there's like a stack of books here, a pretty big one, and then that's going to be the bottom. So like I said, I'm setting goals for myself, and my big goal in this one, which is a lofty goal, I don't know if I'm going to meet this goal, but it would be to finish the whole bottom this year. Yeah, so we'll see if that happens. Okay, just 3 cross stitch. So we'll see if that happens, but I do love this whip. And I do tend to work on it while I'm watching Gilmore Girls. Like fill-in and stuff, I don't. But if I'm like paying attention, but you know what I mean. It's not mindless stitching. I'm not just gonna like carry it outside or in the car or wherever with me. Then I do try to do it while I'm watching Gilmore Girls because I think that's so fun. So yeah, that is my last whip. I'm stitching this on 32 count limestone and I'm stitching it 2/2, which is giving me really nice coverage. I love 32 count. 32 count is my favorite. It's my sweet spot. I definitely feel like I love the coverage. It's like plush coverage, but not too much to where my stitches look messy. I feel like they still look nice. 36 count, I'm definitely a 1 strand. 36 count with 2 strands, it feels too bulky to me, and not even the way it looks so much. Like sometimes yes, but I feel that's like a tighter count 36, but just stitching it I don't enjoy as much. So yeah, that is all for today. I don't have any haul. I haven't ordered anything. Honestly, I've been focusing on buying Christmas presents. I'm the type of person who starts ordering Christmas presents in August and is done in like November, the beginning of November. I always say I'm gonna be done in the beginning of November, and I never am. And I'm also the person who's like, yeah, I'm done, but then I'm like, oh, but that's on sale, I could buy that. So I haven't been looking as much cross stitch stuff. Tonight I'm gonna go watch Sully Stitch's new video because that was posted probably a week ago now, and I haven't watched that yet. So yeah, I'm excited to watch that. Like I said earlier, I do have Wi-Fi now, so hopefully I'm back to my regular posting schedule. I have another freebie video coming next week, which I'm excited about. I'm very excited to sign up for Jingle Ball. I can't wait to do that. Ugh, I'm very excited. I'm definitely gonna do like a recap afterwards, I think, just to let you know. I am kind of nervous about it's like stitching speed dating, is that what they call it? Because I'm kind of a shy, introverted person. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, but we'll see. We'll see. I am excited about it. I want to join some classes. I'm like ready. I'm gonna have my fast fingers so ready when the time comes. Yeah, life has just been good. It's cooled off a little bit today. Now, Saturday we're going to the pumpkin patch. It's supposed to be like 80. So, but today was 76, which is really nice. I am located in NC. So if you have seen the terrible devastation from the hurricane, which is so sad. Thankfully we're in eastern NC, so we didn't personally deal with a lot of flooding or anything like that, but definitely have been putting my thoughts and prayers and resources and donating and things to hurricane, is it Helena? I've heard people say it different ways, but yeah, devastation from that, so super sad. And thankfully we weren't impacted personally, but still so super sad. There's a lot of people we know that were. Yeah, that's it. I feel like because I didn't have a haul, I just rambled for like 10 minutes. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. What are you stitching on while you watch this? I asked that question one time before, and I really liked hearing what you said. I actually bought a few patterns from what people had said they were stitching. I went and looked them up, and I was like, oh, I need that. So I bought a couple patterns when I did that. So I haven't been buying cross stitch things. So enable me below by telling me what you're stitching on. Anyway, I will see you next week with a freebie video. It is going to be like October. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to do like fall or Halloween. I think I might do 2 separate videos because I know some people like fall and some people prefer Halloween. Anyway, that's for me to figure out. I will see you next week with a freebie video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.